Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. My name is SkyLaaa, and today I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on characters from the Owl House. Special thanks to my IRL friend Ange for the team idea. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into the battles. So I'm using an Owl House team, which I'm very excited about because I personally love the Owl House. So I'm going to lead off with Willow. You might be thinking, why isn't this a grass type? Willow uses plant magic, right? So it only makes sense. I thought it fit her design the best, and also she does get Energy Ball, I almost called it Gravity Ball, and that actually one-shots the Club instantly. Now, I'm running Terrain Extender on this for another Pokemon on this team. And of course, I had to have Energy Ball, and I have Terra Grass on that, because, of course, she uses Plant Magic. I'll go over the other moves in a second. Right now, I have to deal with a Clangorous Soul Tomo, which I was very threatened by. But I was relying on my Misdreavus here to hopefully mitigate the damage. I'm running Choice Scarf on this with Shadow Ball, Trick, Memento, and Thunderbolt. So I'm going to go for the Trick. I'm going to lock in the Komo in case it wants to set up again, or in case it wants to go for any kind of move to lock itself in. I might be able to swap in accordingly. It had Muscle Band, and it's going to go for Aerial Ace. Damn, that actually did a lot of damage. Anyway, it's going to swap out now, probably didn't want to stay in, go for another Aerial Ace, so they're going to swap into the Decidueye. I opt to swap out my Amity because, of course, I don't want to take another Aerial Ace. So into King. Honestly, Cubone was probably a way better fit, but Cubone's not in this game, unfortunately. This is a max defense for Coco. It's so good. It's not, but like Unaware on this Pokemon is actually really great. I have Will-O-Wisp on this, so I burnt the Decidueye. I have Slack Off for recovery. I have Flamethrower just in case, I need a move, and in case I get taunted. And I have Encore in case I get set up on. Even though I have Unaware to ignore setup, I just opted to put it on the set anyway. So in comes Lycanroc. This was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to slack off. I'm going to restore my health all the way up to full. Truth be told, I didn't have any switch-ins to this Pokemon. I lived with -1 defense, and I'm able to get off a Will-O-Wisp and burn this Lycanroc. Oh my, I was not expecting to live whatsoever. King is a goat. Anyway, so now the Lycanroc is burnt, I was thinking, oh great, this team does not have any rock type switches whatsoever. It actually ends up having Rock Slide and Stone Edge, so that's interesting. So down goes my Fuecoco, but man, what a beast. It got 2 crucial burns. So going back out into my Willow here, I was thinking, should I go for Energy Ball again, or should I go for Psychic? I have Psychic, Energy Ball, Healing Wish, and Hyper Voice. So I ended up going for Psychic, anticipating a swap, maybe back out into Komo, but it actually ended up staying in. So it chipped me for a decent, a little under half of my health. So they're going to actually swap out here. Now, I was thinking, honestly, I was going to go for an Energy Ball here, but I ended up going for Psychic again. Just, it killed it anyway. And it's on a sliver of health. And the Komo actually swaps in, and it's going to get absolutely eviscerated by my Psychic, which is great. I didn't have to deal with the Choice Scarf Aerial Ace. Oh my gosh. Anyway, in comes Garchomp, the threat. I was super scared of this Pokemon because I knew that if it was like Swords Dance Scale Shot with loaded dice, then that was probably over. And oh look, it's Swords Dance. So I have Memento here that I can go for, which honestly was like, I didn't know if this was Jolly or what, so because I didn't have my Choice Scarf anymore, so I opted to go for Memento. Now, it was a good thing that I outsped because it actually gave me some crucial information on, what I could do versus this Garchomp. So swapping in Ida with the Intimidate because she is very intimidating, and I have Choice Scarf Final Gambit on this, and it doesn't even kill, so I was like, damn, I was running max health with Final Gambit too, so I was thinking that it's gotta be max health Garchomp, and it can't have any speed. So I'm gonna swap in Lose herself. I'm gonna go for the Psyshock. Now that I know that I outspeed with my Misdreavus, I knew that I could outspeed with Breaks in here. So I'm gonna take out the Garchomp, thankfully. It actually ended up having Dragon Rush instead of Scale Shot, which is interesting. Anyway, I have an Agility set with Eviolite on this, and I have Fire Blast, Psyshock, and Grass Knot. Now this also works well with the Psychic Terrain, so it boosts my Psyshock damage. And I knew that I could potentially live a Stone Edge because it was burnt, so down goes the Lycanroc, which I was very thankful for. And I needed to go for an Agility as well, so that I can outspeed this demon. So in comes Koraidon. which I was definitely scared of, but I knew that I could get a big chunk off with Psyshock, so I'm gonna go for the Psyshock here, and it does a good amount of damage, over half health. Good job, Luz. I opted to go for Braixen over Hatterene, or like Hatterene, just because of the fact that I think that this Shiny Braixen matches her default design like the best out of any Pokemon, and Braixen is still based on a witch to an extent. So the Psychic Terrain is going to disappear, and I'm going to set it back up again with my Willow. Now, there was no chance in hell that I was ever going to outspeed this demon, so I opted to set up the Psychic Terrain. So, well, I didn't opt to. It's this Pokemon's ability. So down goes my Willow, but everything was set for my last Pokemon to come in, which was, of course, Hunter, the Golden Guard, Armarouge, with Psychic Seed. This was a set that Joey Pokemon and Blim used. It's such a fun set. It's Iron Defense, Stored Power, Aura Sphere, and Calm Mind with the Psychic Seed. Now, this was honestly a funny Pokemon and a funny coincidence, because Willow and Hunter are together in the show, and Indeedee and Armarouge are infamously, you know, good in doubles because of the fact that Armarouge has Expanding Force. So I thought that that was a really funny coincidence. I needed to make use of Psychic Terrain on this Pokemon, but I didn't really want to give it Expanding Force because I wanted to try the Stored Power set. So Koraidon is going to go for the Terra Fighting Collision Course. It still does a good chunk of my health. I have Terra Poison on this just to avoid any toxic poisoning, and I have Weak Armor instead of Flash Fire. So I figured that if this Koraidon was Terra Fire with Flare Blitz, they might have not been so easy to go for that move because, you know, what if I had Flash Fire? That would have been a waste of a turn. So I'm going to store power under the Psychic Terrain, and that just completely annihilates the Koraidon. And all that's left is this Burn Decidueye, which I know that I can outspeed thanks to my my Weak Armor boost. And that's going to be the end of the first game. Hunter putting in some crazy work. I'm telling you, this Pokemon was the best Pokemon at it in my entire team. It's just such a beast. It's such a good sweeper, and like if your opponent doesn't expect it, then it just absolutely eviscerates. So this second battle was versus Lychee, and he had a mono bug team, and he always brings really interesting sets in teams, so I was very excited for this match. So I'm gonna go for the Shadow Ball here. There wasn't really much choice because if this was Quiver Dance, then that was immediately threatening. I got a special defense drop, which is actually amazing because the Volcarona ends up being a physical set with Trailblaze, and it has Shell Bell. I was like, what? That's a unique item. So it outspeeds me, and it's going to go for the Flare Blitz. I barely live, and the recoil damage and the special defense drop is actually going to be enough to take out the Volcarona. The Shell Bell is not going to save it whatsoever. Now, I actually had two Choice Scarfers on this team, and honestly, I think that Amity fits Misdreavus best because Misdreavus is still based on like a witch, and I don't think Miss Maggie is fit at all. And I was gonna go for Curly or Gardevoir based on her original design, but I mean the series has been out for like a year or plus now, so I think Misdreavus is like the best. Oh my god, Fell Stinger, Leavanny, that's a huge threat. So it's gonna take out my Misdreavus, and it's gonna get a +3 in attack. Now this is another game where King absolutely shines because it's a mono bug team, so it's gonna have that crazy matchup. That Shadow Claw does absolutely nothing. Honestly, I did have my Staraptor in the back, which I don't think I've said the set of that yet, but I have this Pokemon which just shuts down any kind of threatening physical attacker anyway. Special attacker is like a different story. So in comes Vikavolt. I wasn't like, obviously any special move is going to eviscerate me, so I didn't really have the best switch into this, but it ends up going for Guillotine. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose. Oh my gosh, I'm in a lose situation, guys. So down goes my Luz. Damn, that was actually a good Pokemon versus this team as well because of the Fire Blast and the agility. So I did not want to mess around with this Pokemon. I have this Choice Scarf Staraptor. If I didn't say it already, I have Brave Bird, I have Quick Attack, I have U-Turn, and Final Gambit. But most of the time I was clicking Final Gambit because I think this is one of the highest HP Pokemon, if not the highest HP Pokemon, that gets Final Gambit. So down goes that guillotining Vikavolt, and I'm going to bring in my Willow. I almost called her Amity. I'm going to bring in Willow here because, you know, it was generally like not very useful versus this team, and like it was weak to all kinds of bug moves. So I wanted to see what the opponent was going to do. The Scyther is going to end up going for Focus Energy, so I was like, I wonder what this set could be. So I'm going to go for the Psychic here, and it's going to do a huge chunk of damage, putting it in the red. It ends up being Technician Focus Energy Struggle Bug, and man, that does so much damage, but I'm able to barely live it. special attack drop is unfortunate, but like I'm able to take out the Scyther with the Psychic. Ooh. Now that's great because obviously this Pokemon is really fast and like annoying, and it could Struggle Bug and drop my special attack of my Armor Rouge. So this was funny. I have Psychic. I'm gonna go for the Psychic. I have Psychic though, and I'm gonna go for it against the physical Yanmega. Now the Yanmega was actually adamant, and since I was running Timid on my Indeedee, I actually outsped it by 1 point, which is great. So I was able to get the chip off on it. But it's gonna end up going for the Endure this turn. I was like, I wonder what this is. I wonder what this is even gonna do. So I'm gonna go for the Flamethrower here. My laptop battery is dying. I really hope that doesn't like destroy my laptop like mid-recording. That would be unfortunate. Anyway, it's gonna have a Leechy Bear, so I was wondering what is this thing gonna do? You know, I'm unaware. I shouldn't be hit too hard by any move. It's gonna go for the Reversal. That max defense. I'm able to take the Reversal from the Adamant Yanmega, and I'm gonna take it out with the Flamethrower. So that's good, you know. I have this Fuecoco here, and the last Pokemon is going to be Low-Kicks. Now, I was definitely scared of this Pokemon because Low-Kicks is a very threatening Tinted Lens Mon, and it's going to end up being Terra Dark as well. Now, if I didn't say the Terra on this already, it was Terra Grass for any water moves and that kind of thing. So, it's going to end up going for the Throat Chop here, and I actually barely, well, not barely live, I actually took that really well. It ends up being a 2-hit KO on me. Fortunately, Will-O-Wisp missed. I was like, damn. In case it was Sucker Punch, you know, I wanted to be able to have a safer end game versus this Mon, but it's gonna end up taking out my Fuecoco, which is fine. I have my Armor Rouge, of course, last Mon Hunter in the back, and I have the Iron Defense, Calm Mind, Psychic Seed on this, of course. And I was thinking, should I go for Iron Defense or should I go straight for the Aura Sphere? I'm gonna opt to Terra just because I didn't want to be weak to the Throat Chop, you know, make myself weaker, and yeah, I wasn't sure how much damage I was going to take from this, or if it was going to Swords Dance or something. So, it's going to Throat Chop me again. I didn't know what item this was as well, if it was like Bandit or Black Glass. It does so much damage. I'm actually max health and max speed on this, if I didn't say the EVs. And I have that weak armor boost going, and I'm gonna go for the Iron Defense just in case it had like Sucker Punch or anything. Psychic Terrain was gonna end this turn after all, so it could have very well had Sucker Punch if it did. So I'm gonna go for that Aura Sphere, like I said, and it actually took it out. So I underestimated this thing like crazy. I didn't have any special attack investment, but that's gonna be the games. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched this far, as always, feel free to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.